Okay, I wanted to do a video to go along with this can tab grab model. It's my version of one of the pop can openers. I'll show you a couple things on it so you can customize it how you like. First, I'll show that this is how the file should open up, and when you sliced it, this is what you'll see. But if you want to edit this, there's some things you might want to know if you haven't dealt with this before. We'll go over that right now. So the first thing would be if you want to change the size of this plate. It's a separate item in the objects list, so just click on objects and find this plate, and you could go in here and scale it. But I would leave uniform off and make sure the Z doesn't change. That'll trip you up if that Z changes. But you could change this and you could reslice it, get your new shape. Another thing you could do is actually just replace it. So if you don't want that, make sure if you click on it, you'll delete the entire assembly, but click on it over here in this list and you can just delete it. Now you've got some floating items here, so you'll replace it, and you could do this by pulling in your own shape or your own logo plate that you've done. Some of that gets a little more advanced. I'm kind of keeping it to the more basic modifications right now, but if you do add primitive, you could add a cylinder and then just change the cylinder to the size that you want. So in this case, I'm going to scale it. I want to keep this Z at 0.1, so that's the important thing that you'll want to maintain, but these could be anything you want. I'll just go to 2, get the plate size however you want it. I mean, there's some limitations really with what will actually work on the can, and you can kind of figure that out, but I'll center it up. Main thing here is you'll want this component, this feature, pretty close to the edge. You wouldn't really want to get to a point where it's, let's see, you go over to that cylinder where you're too far over this way with a gap there. But I have this stuff saved so that you should be able to center it. Then once you have that created, you look at this and say, well, it looks pretty much like it did before, so we'll go ahead and slice it, and you'll see that it doesn't look right, and you've got errors. You've got two objects that are fighting for the same space. They're interfering, and then it's popping up all these errors. So what's going on is this is not part of the assembly. If I collapse that assembly, you'll see the cylinder is not inside of that assembly. It's just another item in the list, in the objects list. So what you'll want to do is, while the cylinder is selected here in the list, hold down Control and select the assembly as well, so you have them both selected. Right click and do merge, and now if I collapse the assembly, you'll see that the cylinder is inside of that assembly now, so it's all like one item. So now you go and you slice it and you go, okay, well now we should be good. Hit slice and you don't see anything. Well, here's what's going on there. Go back into your objects list and just move the cylinder up. It's just too far down in the list. Slice it, and now we're good to go. So that's how you'll switch out this plate. So just remember, keep the thickness the 1/10 of an inch or whatever you need to set it to in metric if that's what you're working with, obviously. And then make sure you merge the cylinder or whatever new plate you put in with that assembly, and then just move it up in the list. That'll get you there. And then another thing you can do is you can go in and edit the text. So you can say right click on one of these, maybe just maybe you don't need that one, you delete that one. So go in here, right click, and we can edit this text. We can type in whatever we want. We can change the size, you can change the position of it, change the font. And once you have this text selected up here, you can actually just click on the next item or the next line of text. And then after that, what you could do is, if you end up being like clicked completely out of it, you can just go back and do the same way before, edit text. Get it exactly how you want. And then if you go in and slice that, should be good. So that's what I wanted to show you, just those few little tricks. Some of those things that'll trip you up is, again, just not having it merged or not having it in the right order. I see a lot of people get frustrated and they feel like they've got it all set up just right, and then they go to slice it and it's blank or it's interfering, it's showing errors. Those are the little tricks of the trade, I guess. Oh yeah, there was something else I wanted to show you. So you can add a keychain hole to this too. I'll show you if you don't know how to do that. You just, when you're back in prepare, you just are going to click on the part and do add negative part, and you can add a cylinder, and then you can scale that cylinder to size that you need. And then let's look at where we want to position it. You know, what thing I do a lot is lost it there. Center. I'll hit center with it. That way I've at least got a good reference. And then I can just drag it. Then I know I'm in the center. And one thing you'll want to do here is when you're scaling this part, I'll show you here. Let me go ahead and slice it. It creates the hole. So it's pretty simple to do that, but there's one little thing I want to show you because it can trip you up. If you are scaling this, let's say do something like that. Now it's up in the air. So if we scale that, slice it, and it's hovering, it's not going to put a hole in there. So just make sure if it does something like that, just drag it down. It doesn't have to be exactly on the plate as long as it's through the part. See, it's sticking below the plate there. And it still works. So you can scale that, size it, move it around however you want, and that'll get you the keychain hole.